Hello students, we're going to go back just a little to chapter 10, lesson 9. You can see I originally had crossed it off, but I want to go over a couple concepts on this. This is page 759. If you see this awesome thing of lemonade and it says hands-on division with unit fractions, you know you're in the right spot. So the reason I had originally skipped this lesson is because it's kind of an in-person sort of lesson with fraction tiles, but I do want to just glance at it and show you guys. You know that 6 divided by 3 means to take 6 objects and divide them into 3 groups. You know that. There would be 2 in each group. You can think of division with unit fractions the same way, and remember a unit fraction is any fraction that has a numerator of 1. So 1/2, 1/4, 1/5, I skipped 1/3 for some reason, anything, 1/100th, it goes on. And let's see, Remy has 2 gallons of lemonade. She needs to divide the lemonade into 1/4 gallon containers. How many 1/4 gallon containers does she need? So you're dividing 1/4, 2 divided by 1/4. So you're thinking, how many groups of 1/4 are there in 2? So if you put fraction tiles out here, which we don't have, but if you put them out there, you have 2 gallons, and you could line up little 4th things right here. These are 4th fraction tiles. That's what you're supposed to line up there, because it obviously takes 4 fourths to equal 1 whole, right? But we have 2 altogether. So how many fourths can we fit? 8. So 2 divided by 1/4 is 8. He needs 8 containers. Now remember, I told you keep, change, flip. Can you still use this here? Absolutely. We're dividing and there's a fraction. It doesn't matter which side the fraction's on, we can use it. So we keep our first number. We change our sign. We flip. 1/4 becomes 4/1. This 2's over 1, of course. So 2 times 4 is 8. Over 1 is 8/1, or 8 divided by 1, or 8. Okay, let's take a look at the back side of the page, page 760. It says find 1/5 divided by 2. So here's this little teeny tiny fraction tile of 1/5. And we have to divide it into 2 pieces. And if you had fraction tiles, you would know that it takes 2 fraction tiles, 1/10 and 1/10 to equal 1/5. We don't have those, but let's do keep, change, flip. 1/5 divided by 2. Keep the first one, always. Change the sign, flip the last one. 2/1 becomes 1/2. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 2 is 10. You see that half of it is 1/10. Half of that is 1/10. Okay, let's do some practice. Let's do some practice on this page. Let's do number 3, and I want you to write at the tippy top of your page, keep, change, flip. And this is for any division problem with fractions. And look at that, you guys. Look at the division sign is a blank fraction. Did you ever get that? There's a number in the fraction line. Because fractions, even the division sign is like a little fraction. See? Like 3/4 or 2/3. That line, that division sign is a fraction. Okay, 3 divided by 1/3. Keep my first number, change my sign, flip the last one. Of course, this 3 whole number is over 1 as well. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. 9 divided by 1, of course, is 9. Keep, change, flip. Keep my first number, change my sign, flip the last one. Of course, this is a fraction over 1, is a whole number over 1. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 1 is 1. 10/1. 10 divided by 1 is 10. Okay, I want you to do number 5 and 6. Do number 5 and 6. Pause it here. and then come back and we'll check your work. Do number 5 and 6. So here you should have kept the 4, changed the sign, and flipped the fraction to be a 2 over 1. Of course, this 4 is also over 1. We multiply across the numerator. 4 times 2 is 8. We multiply across the denominator. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 over 1, 8 divided by 1 is 8. On number 6, you keep the first number, change the sign, flip the last part. Now you multiply across the numerator. Remember that 3 is in the numerator. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 1 in the denominator is 1. 18 divided by 1, or just 18. Let's do number 7 and 8 together. We have 1/3 divided by 4. Same thing, you guys. We're still going to keep, change, flip. It does not matter which side the fraction is on. But we always keep the first number, change the sign, flip the last one. This is, of course, a 4 over 1, so it becomes a 1/4. Multiply the numerator. 1 times 1 is 1. Multiply the denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. My answer is 1/12. Number 8, keep the first one. You rewrite it. Change the sign. You flip it. Flip the last one. That's, of course, over 1 because it's a whole number. So 3 over 1 becomes 1 over 3. Now it's a multiplication problem. So much easier. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. My answer is 1/6. So let's do number 9 and 10. You guys go ahead and pause the video here and do those on your own. Do numbers 9 and 10. Okay, you should have already done those. You should be checking your work now. If you haven't, please pause the video. We've got 1/3 divided by 2. I keep the first number. I change the sign. I flip the last number. That, of course, is a 2 over 1. It becomes a 1 over 2. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. You should have gotten 1/6 on that. And then finally, keep the first number, change the sign, flip the last one. That's a 2, which is a 2 over 1. It becomes 1 over 2 when we flip it. 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8. You should have got 1/8 on that one. Keep, change, flip. Anytime there's a division problem with fractions. Anytime there's a division with fractions, we keep, change, flip. Okay, my friends, good job. Keep up the great work, and we'll work on this again.